Guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 17. There are 2 weeks left on DraftKings for the regular season on NFL. Then we get to the playoffs. But until we get there, I'm going to break down my top running backs for this week. And there are a lot of them. A lot of running backs in advantage situations. Many of them playing at home. Many of them with 20 plus. Like, it is a 5-box bonanza this week. The 5 boxes, in case you're wondering, that we use to try and predict future success for running backs over their fantasy expectation, their projection, would be playing at home, favored. Do they project to have more than 20 opportunities? Are they involved in the passing game? Do they get those very important inside the 5-yard line, goal line touches? That is what leads to the most fantasy success individually. And when we pile them up, a lot of good things can happen. Because there are so many of them on this slate this week, not all of them are going to be really heavily played, which is going to lead us to some advantage spots for running backs, a lot of them under 6K that we may be able to have be fantastic tournament plays by the time Sunday gets here. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below, and tell me what your New Year's resolution is. And let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League for Week 17 is still the best tournament on DraftKings. 3,000 people can enter it. I will shout out the winners in the recap video on Monday on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. So look over there. Here's the Week 16 recap. Here's the Week 15 recap. Here's the Week 14. I'm on quite a winning streak the last week. So go check out that video and I will shout out all the winners. $10 to enter. You got to go to smizzle.tv/links. because it does not exist in the lobby. Absolutely no rake. You can find the link to the Listener League and the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel right there on the link tree. So make sure that you join the Listener League and subscribe to the Fantasy Football channel. Travis Etienne Jr. Now look, I'm tired of saying the same thing, but he is going to get 20 touches. He is not at home, okay? So he checks off 4 boxes because he is involved in the passing game, but not a lot. I've used him on the cover. I'm going to use him on this video. He is a fantastic play. I expect him to be the highest played running back on the week. He is going to get his touches. He has massive big playability, and Houston gives up a ton of big plays. Another 48-yard touchdown last week to Derrick Henry. They're going to get a heavy dose of Etienne Jr. this week. Heightened touchdown expectation. He has gotten you over 100 yards from scrimmage. Each of the last 2 weeks did not bonus or score a touchdown in either one of those games, but his floor is so ridiculously high based on the matchup, the volume, and the touchdown, heightened touchdown expectancy at only 6,400 this week. Exactly 1,000 yards on the season for the youngster. And I like him a lot. And I think that everybody else is going to like him a lot this week because it's not like a total free square. He's not 4,500, right? But it costs you absolutely nothing at 6,400. That's like around the average salary on a roster to get somebody who has 100-yard upside, big play upside, double touchdown upside against a team that basically just lets opposing running backs score almost at will. Austin Ekeler is at home, and the Chargers have clinched a playoff spot. So say bye-bye to all of those made-up social media quarterback, can't get to the playoffs memes and all the other stuff as far as Justin Herbert goes, but averaging 22.4 DraftKings points per game on the season. He is the highest priced 5-box running back on the week because Christian McCaffrey, who is certainly in play but not going to be included in this video, just assume that if Christian McCaffrey's on the slate that I like Christian McCaffrey. Okay, he's in play. But we're going to go with Austin Ekeler in this spot as he does check off all 5 boxes, scored an absurd amount of touchdowns. So coming into the season, last year he scored a ridiculous amount of touchdowns in the passing game. And it was almost certain that he was going to regress on the amount of touchdowns he was going to score through the air. What do you have last year? 20 touchdowns. He's got 16 this year, but a lot of them on the ground, 11 of them. Because even though his snap count has come down this season, he has still maintained a ton of usage on plays originating from inside the 5-yard line, on red zone snaps and touches, on goal to go opportunities. He's their main guy once they get into those certain situations in that area of the field. So while he does not really project to get you a 100-yard bonus, he's done it one time this year, even with the amount of passes that he's caught. He came close here with 96 yards, but like really only one bonus this year. But pretty much every week, I mean, he hasn't done the last 2, but like pretty much every other week, he's gotten you like about 100 yards. So you get that 10 points on the ground. You're getting a ton of targets and a ton of catches, boosting that floor, as well as averaging over a touchdown per game. So 22.4 points is absolutely no joke. Playing against a Rams team who is coming off of a complete Christmas Day throttling of the Denver Broncos, but this is not a good roster at this point. Denver completely quit on the field in that game in Los Angeles last week. Both teams are at home. It's the SoFi Challenge. I don't know what to call this stupid game, but like I think that the Chargers are going to continue being the Chargers and scoring points, and the Rams hopefully can push them a little bit. Cam Akers on the other side, if you wanted to play him off of Austin Ekeler and into Justin Herbert stacks and bring it back with Cam Akers, I'm not totally against that. Or it's a running back video, but like Higbee as well. So interesting plays in this game for sure. It is the final week as we get to New Year's Day this weekend. Smizzle.tv/charity is the link. If you wanted to be a part of our fundraiser for No Kid Hungry, we are less than $2,000 away from the next match. I believe we're at like $48,009 raised so far this year. When we get to 50,000, if we get to 50,000 before the end of the year through smizzle.tv/charity, I will kick in another $10,000 match. If you get all the way to 60,000 after that match, that'll put us there. And then if you can get to 70, another $12,000 total from the community, that would be a $20,000 match. So we can add another like $40,000 to this if we can, get it together and really get after it in the next 4 days. So if you've had a good year, if you've enjoyed the content, every single dollar helps. If you've got tax write-offs, if you're in that sort of tax harvest season because you had a fantastic year in daily fantasy, please consider donating No Kid Hungry, who provides school breakfasts and lunches, as well as at-home care to food insecure kids across the country. So thank you guys very much for watching all season long. We got 1 week to go. Let's do it together. Saquon Barkley at 8,000 at home against Indy. I loved how they utilized him last week. This deployment with 10 targets and 8 catches last week. Again, this is the sweet spot, right? I don't need 20 carries. I really don't. Bad defense here. Back-to-back games, only 8,000. So it comes in at a $500 discount over Austin Ekeler and a $1,000 discount. He's way less than is Christian McCaffrey. So he's giving you a discount with very similar, same usage the last couple of weeks. They've got to win games. And this is a great spot to get back to doing that, as they've lost last week against Minnesota. The Giants have a lot to play for in this spot. We have big playability. We have an Indianapolis defense that just can't quite get it done, averaging 19.2 DraftKings points per game. I want this usage. I want, let's say 30, because he's not going to get Kamara use. It's not going to be 11 to 15 carries. I want like 14 to 18, right in this range, and we got to get 6+ targets every single game out of Saquon. But massive upside, especially in this spot. Just saw a big game out of Ekeler in the last game on Monday Night Football. So Saquon Barkley, the next man up. Not an easy road for Jeff Saturday and the Colts, who have since the owner tweeted, like they won that first game with Saturday as the coach. Then he tweeted and they're like 0-5 since then. Yeah, just win, baby. Yeah, you've lost like 5 straight since then. You guys have no roster and you've lost Jonathan Taylor, and you hired somebody who was a high school coach 3 years ago to man a football team. It's not working, Jim. It's not working, Jim. Miles Sanders under 6K. Here comes the cavalcade of sub 6K 5-box running backs. Big time favorites here, Philly. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be. Vegas is acting as though it's going to be Jalen Hurts, who says that he should be ready to play in this game. That offense runs better with Jalen Hurts, and I can see them not pounding him into the line anymore when they get around the goal line, which potentially means more inside the 5 carries for Miles Sanders, who has 11 touchdowns on the season. They're favored by 7, total of 44 in this game. Not really all that involved in the passing game. So maybe 4-box, you can call it that. We've seen him get 3 targets in games before, but definitely has a 20-touch expectation, specifically in games where there is scoring, and they do score a lot. 34 points, 25 points, 48, 35, 40. Like, he has done such a fantastic job as well as showing those flashes again with the big playability. 25-yard rush, 28-yard rush, 40-yard rush, multiple touchdowns in 2 of the last 5 games, and a touchdown in 3 of the last 5 games. This is a good spot once again for Miles Sanders. AJ Dillon has seen a bump in his usage, touchdowns in 4 straight, to the point where people are starting to ask, like, what did Aaron Jones say or do to anybody? But like, it feels like he's just dealing with that injury, and they've really throttled him down in terms of his snaps and percentage of touches. So with AJ Dillon getting some goal line touches, and maybe them having to, I don't know, utilize him in the, I always reference these 2 guys like Nyheim Hines and JD McKissic. If they turn Aaron Jones back into that, AJ Dillon at 5,800 may not get you those 20 touches, but he is going to add a lot of goal line usage. Taking a look here at the difference, just to kind of highlight this, from 22, 14, 16, 19 down to 8 last week. They've really taken down his usage in a game where they were playing from ahead, specifically in the second half, as Tua suffered his 408th concussion of the season and was left in the game yet again. That's a topic for a whole other video. But like, Aaron Jones is 7,100, right? With that decreased usage last week. AJ Dillon's 58. If there's a possibility that he outsnaps and outtouches Aaron Jones in this game, and based on the usage last week, that definitely exists. We're getting a massive discount here, which is absolutely fantastic. Leonard Fournette at 5,600 is beyond absurd at this point. He handled 70.7% of the touches at running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, and he said he's dealing with a Liz Frank. 30 opportunities in that game, 25 points, continually peppered with targets because Tom Brady cannot deal, right? Tom Brady cannot handle throwing the ball downfield. He does not have the time behind that offensive line, so he just continues to just pepper Leonard Fournette or Rachaad White with targets, but like 7, only 4 against Cincinnati when he kind of split with Rachaad White, and then 10 in that spot. 5,600 seems too cheap against Carolina, who can get after it with the pass rush. Tyler Algier is also a $5 running back this week. 20 opportunities last week. 2 weeks in a row, he has outsnapped and outtouched Cordero Patterson, and last week seeing his highest snap percentage and touch percentage of the season in games where Cordero Patterson played against Baltimore. They face Atlanta, who has recently given up a ton to opposing running backs. And if you look at how he's been utilized, and the kid has been very good and a very efficient runner on a team that wants to run the ball very well. And like, that's just their philosophy. 5,300 against Arizona. This price is cheap, and his percentage is not going to be very high. He's not going to be a super popular play. He may be under 5%, should definitely be under 10, but is in a very good spot and makes for a solid tournament one-off play, specifically thinking that personally that Drake London's going to be somewhat chalky, so Algier acts as a leverage play off of him. And to finish it off, James Conner. How can I not mention James Conner? Getting 95+% of the snaps and touches for Arizona, right? There is no other running back in town. Battle Fader, thank you for the $20 donated to No Kid Hungry. $10 for every best ball team that advanced. You're in the final. Congratulations, dude. And best of luck this weekend in best ball. 7,200 is not enough. He's averaging about 16 points per game on the season. But if you look at the last few games, 25, 23, 18, 25. He's getting way too many touches, way too much volume, all of the inside the 5 stuff, specifically since Kyler Murray is not there now. And even though Trace McSorley is the quarterback in this offense, it's not what it was before. They've scored 16 and 15 and 13 points the last 3 weeks. He has still eaten every one of those weeks because he is getting the volume to do so. So play volume over everything else at running back. James Conner could be popular this week, or he could not. I don't know. There's a wide range on the possibilities of what his percentage could be. And if James Conner is like 30 to 35%, I'm probably going to look somewhere else. But if James Conner is 10 to 12%, I think he's a fantastic tournament play this week, even though not a $5 running back. The Atlanta Falcons have allowed the most red zone trips to opposing offenses this season and do not do a good job at stopping opponents from scoring once they get in there. So thank you guys for watching. Looking for another video right there.
He's a legend.